Hey, what's happening, YouTube? This is David at Jab to Win Finance, and this is my first video, episode 1 of my weekly update. So I've got everything here on the title page. I'm going to go through my portfolio and kind of just go through and get everything down here. This is good for accountability for me. That's my main purpose of this video. I'm going to commit to trying my hardest to update this every weekly at the week's end, close of business. This is from week ending 9/14/2018, so Friday the 14th, 2018. And here's what I've got. Um, my history in investing this is the newer history, but previous history was I did the opposite of buy low, sell high. I pretty much bought high, sold low. I did. I did cash out a 401k in 2010. Who knows how much I lost then? And prior to that, I'm currently 42 years old. And I sold every 401k once I left the job. And I really regret that today. One of my few regrets I do have, and I'm not ashamed to say I have regrets. Um, my portfolio now it's broke up into 4 parts, and it's really 3 parts, but I'll show you that here in the coming pages. It is a 4-part portfolio, I call it. Ultimately, my goals with investing are, first, it's really not. I didn't really set out, I don't think, to have an emergency fund, but for my liquid funds that I do have invested, it is kind of nice seeing you know, knowing that I have a little cushion there. I do have a cash emergency fund. I am a Dave Ramsey follower to the best of my ability, I say. Uh, I'm almost out of debt. According to Dave Ramsey, you really shouldn't invest until you get full, 100% out of debt, everything except for the house. It's just one of my things. I'm really passionate about investing right now. I'm also passionate about getting out of debt. Um, I want to get out of debt by the first of the January 1st, 2019. That might have gotten put off a little bit here. So, and then another nice function of investing is looking at passive income. If I could get some of that going, that would be good. The higher the higher your value is, the more obviously you're going to have dividends and interest and whatnot pay down. If I did have, if I did lose my income, that'd be nice to know that I had something there. It's also ownership. I like the concept of, you know, owning part of these companies. And there's a lot of, obviously, if you have these holdings, it's, each share. I can't remember where I saw it. Each share represents, a part of that business, and a sense of ownership is always nice. And lastly, there's retirement, and we're getting into that hot and heavy over the. I started retiring about 4 years ago. On the new 401k about 4 years ago, and my current company that I'm still with, they did sell out. So when they sell out, we have the option to all people have the opportunity to grab your 401k earnings and value, and you can move that into a Roth or I'm sorry, an regular IRA at the time, and I definitely did that. So, my knowledge on investing is very limited at the moment, so I'm very humbled to learn more. I'm learning as much as I can every day, on top of just regular life experience, and that's going pretty good, mostly via YouTube. Um, I've read Tony Robbins' Unshakable, and I'm getting ready to get into The Intelligent Investor by Graham, because that's looks like to be the book everyone's reading. I watch lots of videos on Warren Buffett. I'm invested in Berkshire B, so that's kind of exciting. Um, I also work for a company. One of my accounts is a Berkshire holding, so that's kind of fun also to invest where I work. It's not always a good thing, but Berkshire is kind of a safe one to do. All right, so we're going to go through our tabs here. I'm going to put this on my cover every week. So the basic two different funds, the two different parts here is liquid and total invested. I say liquid because this is money I can liquidate today and get the value of, um, and versus total value, and that's obviously got my retirement in it. So that's pretty straightforward, I think. I should go through here. Here's what I've got everything allocated on a monthly basis right now. These are my 4 funds you can see on the left here. I call it growth. It's pretty much ETFs. And then a dividends fund. Everyone's kind of crazy about that. It's exciting to watch dividends come in. It's about 10 holdings, I think, there. Retirement, and then precious metals. I don't even, that fourth part there, that's just some silver I've got on the side. It's still kind of nice to have, but obviously precious metals are a poor investment, so just brings me peace of mind, so it's kind of worth it in that part. I think I've got 17 ounces of silver, so it's not really anything to shake a stick at, but it's something. And I think the option's open. It's not I'm not actively funding precious metals right now, so. That's what I got here. This is my monthly. I'm doing $700. Once I get out of debt, it's gonna rise significantly. But 500 towards retirement, going into the Roth, maxing out my 5,500 annual allowance there, and then 100 in dividends, 100 into growth. Making a weekly contribution of 175, getting that dollar cost averaging going. I am using M1. I was using Stash before in Robinhood. I use Robinhood for if I ever want a weird buy on shares. I'll use Robinhood, and I've got 2 holdings in that right now. But for the most part, yeah, everything's going through M1. I just at this week or this week ending here, I opened up my M1 account, and we're starting to fund that. So that's what's kind of fun is kind of seeing this number here. This liquid number here, to go back, this is everything starting in April of 2018 this year. So about 6 months ago, what I did was I liquidated my previous stash holdings and I dumped it all into my 2017 Roth allotment, or allowance, I should say. And I didn't quite make 5,500 for 2017, but I got really close. I think I came up to $5,000 or so to get my Roth funded. So anyhow, this is the number I want to really be watching is my liquid investments. My 401k is going to do what it does. But let's look at what we've got specifically now. Here's my 4 sections, the blue, red, green, and silver. So my ETFs, or my growth, my dividends, and my retirement. And I've gotten all broke up into separate little funds here. The active ones are my A funds, pretty much. And I guess, let's see, a B on my Robinhood here. So 1A, 1B are active. 1C is my stash. It's essentially... It's just some side investing I've been doing for the last 6 months. I haven't really been, but I've stopped, and everything's going towards 1A right now in my M1 account, and I'll show you what these consist of shortly here. Here's my dividends. Before I found M1, I got on this dividends kick, and I started pretty much the same account minus Pfizer last week. So it's not going to be actively funded. I'm just going to let it ride, pay the $1 a month fee. Probably lose money that way. So I'll probably have to sell that off and reinvest it into M1 eventually when I get around to it. Here's my retirement. There's a lot going on here. I've got other I guess holdings in another place. My 401k, this is the big one you'll see, 3E. It's in an IRA, and it's with another I'm just gonna let it sit for now. I put a pause on it because I created Roth a Roth with M1, and I'm waiting for my next paycheck to fund it, and I'll be at my $500 minimum, and we'll go from there and let it take off, and we'll look and see what that is. Here's that funding I was telling you about where I was trying to make the 2017, and I took all the investments I had at the time and threw it at that because I just found out a week or two before April 15th is when, in case nobody knew, but you can fund that 2017 all the way up to tax day of, so April 15th, and that's what I did. I found out 2 weeks before, so I liquidated all my holdings, my liquid holdings before that, and I threw it at my Roth for 2017. So that's kind of nice to know. And then I pretty much in the coming week after that, I got that chunk right there, and then after that, I threw what I could because I knew I was, hey, I was limited, so I took kind of what I could out of my paycheck there and threw that at it. So I guess it looks like I came up about 4,600 or so, and hey, that's fine for finding out 2 weeks, prior to. Lesson learned, but hey, I still made a good chunk of that 5,500. So that 2,100 is my 2018 Roth. What I've got so far, 2,100 of my 5,500. So I've got about 3,500, 3,200 left to fill for my 2018, and I really do want to have that filled by January 1st versus April 15th of 2019. And so I need to kind of get on that, but I also need to focus on getting out of debt. So I got a lot going on. Here's my silver. It's just something stupid. It's more of a novelty, I think, but it's nice to have. It's kind of cool to look at. 17 ounces. Um, and hey, you never know if there's a complete whatever zombie apocalypse. Who knows? I think there is value in precious metals, no matter what. Relatively speaking, silver and gold were the same price in 500 years ago in relation to cost of goods. So it's a matter of can you barter for it or can you sell it? It's the big question. And I think that's once civilization settled down, then it's going to come back. So like once say there's a economic collapse tomorrow and when everyone's fighting for whatever, people aren't going to be walking around with silver in their hands. It's going to take some time to stabilize again, but just kind of a fun little thing there. All right, so we're gonna look at our first part here, and that's with my growth, and here's what that consists of. It's I've got all but what, $100. How much do I have in this? Oh, 50. Yeah, I got $50 into this, but it's gonna be every 2 weeks gonna be throwing 50 into it, and these are my numbers. Obviously, pretty insignificant at this point. Doing a lot of ETFs, Vanguard ETFs. Hey, following kind of YouTube there, and who knows, we'll change that up down the road. This fund right here, this ITA, is pretty cool. It's a stash fund. It's defense. I can't remember what they call it, but it's basically defense contractors, and that made me a lot of money before I sold it to put into my 401k, or I'm sorry, my Roth. And then there's Berkshire Hathaway. Gosh, I haven't even looked at the price lately. It's $211. I think I started buying into it at $150 or something. That sucks this climb. It's a beast, it seems like. I just don't know enough about speculation anyways why it's happening. So that's what I got for that. It's kind of my conservative approach there to growth. Here's my dividends. Pretty straightforward. Oh, looks like I lost the first week out. It's up right now, but yeah, not a big deal. I want to look at. I see other people on YouTube looking at their dividends coming in on the M1 platform, and that's just cool. I'm excited to see that. I think they're relatively safe stocks. Obviously Apple's there. How much? Let's see here. Wait, 15% on Apple, so that's pretty good. Should probably up that. It's going good places. GD is pretty good one. And these are all kind of well established. And it's kind of fun going to Walmart and knowing you have stock in them. So here's what my retirement fund's going to be. And and as soon as I fund enough to get the minimum at M1, the $500, this is what I'm going to invest. I paused on my other accounts there, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to outperform my other accounts and avoid some fees and some commissions possibly, and this is going to take off hopefully. So that's it. Allocation there. All right, just more or less trying to record where we're at, at the beginning of this, even though I started a couple years ago, I guess. I started in 2015 really investing, and but this is where we are today with a reconsolidation, I guess, and that's about it. Thanks for watching.